I was approached by a company called Sports Ground Advertising, and they said, we're looking at doing graphics on the ground.
Yeah, right.
And we said, yeah, no problem, no problem. And that's what the approach I always had was accept the job and then worry about it when you're there.
Hey guys, I'm Luke from Great-Granddad Jack's Craft Distillery, and today on Speakeasy we're talking to Ian Sharman. He's a local signwriter, a brushie from way back. He's done all of our custom signs here, all of the artwork, everything from the logos out the front to Granddad's face behind the bar. He's a bit of a weapon and I can't wait to see what he's got to offer us. Let's see. Come on this side of the bar with me.
Yeah?
Get your hands on the tools, hell yeah. So we can make a cocktail, we can make a gin and tonic.
We'll go gin and tonic, eh? Let's
Alright.
go gin and tonic.
Sweet. You've got the chili pineapple one here if you want that. We've got the 2 pencils. We've got the greenhouse.
I'll try the 2 pencils.
You want to try that one?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'll get these full of ice. Now grab one of those jiggers for me, little measuring cups, and you're going to brim the short side. So fill this to the very top.
I'm glad you explained that.
Yeah, I'll have the same, why not? You want making a few nice thin slices of cucumber. This is like a very dry style of gin. So you're going to place 3 slices of this cucumber in each glass. Then you're going to grab 3 juniper berries.
With mine I threw 4 in.
Then we've got, a bit special. And then we've got some Pacific tonic. So this is actually from some guys in Brizzy. Bartender from way back.
I do like a gin.
See, there you go, you're all covered. Cheers.
Cheers. Came back here to the coast and started to pick up a small clientele, and that's a good thing about it. It was getting away from 6 days a week, which I've been doing for seems like 100 years, but 50 odd years, 55 years, and then selecting the jobs, or the jobs that came to me, I could look at them and say, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And yours, of course, when it came to me, I thought, wow, it's a challenge, but great. Brushwork, fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's like because we didn't do it all at the same time as well. We kind of did, you started on the outside, then you came and did the face, which I think is still incredible. The amount of chat we get about when you did the face behind the bar is still...
Yeah, well, you grew with the signs as well.
Yeah.
So that was the good thing about it, and then working on different substrates. Just great brickwork, blockwork, timber, rough timber, and you didn't care how difficult it was for me.
No, we're not interested in that.
No, you just said go for it. Yeah. And so it was great. Yeah, fantastic. So then when you invited me to go and do Brisbane, another great challenge. But yeah, fantastic.
What is the most challenging thing about, you've obviously been doing the art for so long?
Basically getting the product that the customer wants to what he feels is the right thing. Years ago, a lot of people just used to say, whatever you think, whatever you. But as I've become more knowledgeable because of graphics and computers and whatever, they're a lot more fussy. So that was the good thing about it, and now, years ago, it was work to create money. Now it's enjoyment. The money side is really secondary to what I can do.
Doing something that's fun and different and new and people that you like working with, all that sort of stuff.
I walked away from this type of work and I felt great about it, right? Whereas if I have a client that says, well, I like a digital print rather than because I want to be able to take it away and do something else, I'll recommend someone. But then think, well, you're just doing Fay, whatever. So, yeah, but this one, great. So, yeah. And I've been getting feedback from friends and people that know me. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, and they just say the dinosaur's still alive.
Yeah. And have you seen kind of the art and style other than going digital? Have you seen it evolve much? Like, is there much of an apprenticeship in it anymore? Or are there still people out there doing it?
Well, no, there's not, because it's not taught in TAFE anymore. And so I go back, 30, 40, 50 years. We had what we called the Bible, the literacy book.
Yeah.
And the lettering was what you saw was what you produced. Whereas today with the computers and graphics and everything, they'll get a letter or a letter style. Say it was copper plate script, which was a beautiful, elegant writing letter. Today, copper plate is now like a big, bulky serif type letter.
Yeah, right.
And they stretch the styles. They do all sorts of things with styles. And then a lot of people say to me, "What do you call that?" And I said, "I wouldn't have a clue." Whereas years ago, you could say copper plate, Helvetica, Helvetica bold, all classic styles. So yeah, so that's the difference. And the bastardston of letter styles is disappointing, but it is what it is today, and so you just live with it.
Has it trying to change too? Has it gone full circle? You kind of started did you start an apprenticeship as well? Is that how you started off?
Well, I started off as a commercial artist, and then I just saw, I had an interest in the way people were able to get some artwork, whether it's lettering or a graphic, and then produce it onto a large wall. And so that got me interested. So I went to night school and got the trade hours in and decided, that's what I'm doing. So I worked for a company for maybe 18 months and then decided to go out on my own.
What a weapon.
And ended up with having 7 or 8 people working for me.
Wow.
A couple of apprentices I put through.
Yeah, and when you did that at the time, was it all kind of similar work to what you do here for us?
That was well before computers came in. So everything was hand done, everything. And you work with 2 mediums of paint, which were enamel or acrylic. So you were restricted to what you were doing. And I did a lot of the early work, of course, in Wellington, in New Zealand. And of course, when you're working with enamels, especially outside, you have to be weather-wise. And often we would go back the next day, and where the enamel was a gloss previously, you had a flat finish. So they're the challenges that one had in the early days. Other than that, it was developing a style that set you apart from the others, and it took maybe 5 years to get that style where people recognised. So they would say, "Oh, Sharman did that sign," and then I could recognise other writers. You'd copy, in a sense, a little bit of their style, then put your own flair to it. But basically you'd keep to your standard styles, and then you'd have your freehand, which separated you from the others.
And in that kind of period of time where you left your apprenticeship, you started doing, looking after a team of people. How long was it until you kind of semi-retired?
I think I was 65.
Wow, that's a good innings of just putting in the hard work and training and.
Yeah, but in between time, I sold the business, the early business, and then at that stage I was living in Sydney, and then sports signage became quite large. So I was approached by a company called Sports Grant Advertising, and they said, we're looking at doing graphics on the ground.
Yeah, right.
And we said, yeah, no problem, no problem. And that's what the approach I always had was accept the job and then worry about it when you're there. And so I had to work out a way of how to put graphics on the ground just by brush. And anyway, I worked out a way. We positioned pins wherever a point of interest was, and used string lines and various things. And then we used brush and roller initially, and then we used airless. And then we found out that we were getting complaints from the grounds that the acrylic was killing the grass. So we got some chemists to come up with virtually it was like a vegetable dye.
Yep.
And it was able to be washed away almost 100% if there had to be a change of code the following day.
Wow.
Or you could put a green solution over it if it was too deep. And then after that, we just did everything like that, and it was so successful. I thought making money was that easy.
Yeah. You're like, oh, look at this is simple.
It took off at big time. Yep. Anyway, I sold out to my apprentice, who had just become a fully qualified signwriter.
Yep.
So I offered him the business, and he took it on. And so virtually, I think I retired when I was 45.
Yep.
And then 6 months later, I got bored, and so I started pottering around with my own sign. And of course, I had to wait 3 years before I could name something.
Yep.
And so I did. And in that time, I invested into a Mitre 10 business with my brother in New Zealand. So I went over and did all the signage and everything like that. So I was basically a silent partner in that. That brought me back to earth a little bit because it was in the middle of a crash, 87 crash I think it was. So I gave away 200,000 fairly easily. And that sort of kick-started me again to earn some more money. So I came up to the coast, and I did not want to become too commercialised.
Yep.
So I virtually I was not known to anyone as such. They couldn't find me on the computers. The yellow pages then. It was all word of mouth. I made contact with a couple of sign companies who wanted to use me for their graphic work and things like that. And so that's basically what I've been doing for the last 25 years, 30 years, just all word of mouth. Yeah. And then I guess the only break I had was when we did the trip around Australia for 2.5 years. Although when we were in Winton, the pub owner there had 2 large roadside billboards, like 30 foot by 12 foot. He said, come on. But I said, I've got no brushes. He said, it doesn't matter, I'll buy some for you. But anyway, I managed to talk my way out of it. I said, next time round I'll catch up and I'll do them for you. But no, never happened. But yeah, it was a good break. I took some interesting photos of old signage that'd been there for years, and so got the juices running again.
I think most people forget about it. Then you go to other parts of the world, or even when they rip down old buildings, like they did with the Burleigh Mall, and you see that old, like hand-painted sign on the wall. You're like, wow.
They are. Yeah. There's just something about it. I guess it will still be around when I'm not doing it.
I think there's different arts too. Like I've seen, there's these kind of big cycles, and I was going to ask you before, but you kind of went from doing your apprenticeship work and still kind of hand painting signs, then into more of like, different mediums like on the turfs and things like that, and then you're back to doing, custom handwork on brickwork and blockwork and wood and all the rest of it. And I think the rest of society's done the same thing, where type work, whether it's digital, whether it's hand done, is all seeming to come back into popularity. It feels a little bit more human to people.
It is. I think what stops some people or some clients is a lot of them are still price conscious.
Yeah.
They can get a price for digital or computer sticky letters. It's a lot of it very instant demand and bang, done. Whereas they approach someone like myself and the time frame is a little bit longer, and almost 90% of the time it will be more expensive.
Yep.
But I guess that's what they're paying for.
Yep.
Is the experience, the feel, the look, and so so there would be people like yourselves and maybe a few larger companies who will prefer a hand-done graphic on the wall rather than a large digital print. But how long is it going to be continuing on? Who knows? Yeah.
And you haven't just done this work. I remember when we first met, you were showing me some of the other actual artwork that you've been doing. Have you still continued? That is something you've done your whole life?
Yes, yeah. Well, that was the commercial art side that got me. So I was always interested in art, like even from knee-high to grasshopper. Like I think the first competition I entered and won was for Coca-Cola in Wellington.
Yeah.
And I think I was 12, and I can't even remember what I did, but you just had to do a painting, a drawing, submit it, and then listen to the radio and hope your name came over, and the prize was a crate of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Those not the big bottles and the little bottles. So, yeah, and again, when I look back at my work, which I thought was pretty good, in the 20s, I look at it now and I think, oh, terrible. But you evolve with it, because I think I've only become aware of it in the last 15 years. Your memory in your brain becomes a storage, and then you're able to somehow transmit it through your eyes, through your hand, to produce what you're actually looking at. And I guess that comes with age and experience.
Well, you're a master of your craft, really. You've been doing it for so long. You've done so many different types and mediums. It's hard, you probably don't have any questions that you can't answer about it,
No, basically, if you have a substrate, whatever it may be, it will take paint. And so you do it, and it's great. But I really do enjoy it now, and I think that's the great thing about it is I'm just disappointed that I'm not 25 with all that experience.
You don't look a day over 41, mate.
But no, it's been a great journey, and hopefully it will continue for a few more years yet.
We'll have plenty of work for you, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think as long as your eyes and your hands continue to work with one another, then I'll continue to do artwork. And I'm now doing artwork for people who say, can you paint me this? Can you paint me this? So I'm actually doing artwork as well in person. But I'm not charging friends. It's a gift. And so
keeps the skills sharp.
Yeah, but I get satisfaction out of it. So that's the main thing. Yeah.
And other than just your interest, was it your mum or your dad or an auntie or a cousin or a friend that got you into art in the first place? What was like created the interest of it?
No, I was the odd one out.
Yep.
Family of 8, and they just thought I was weird.
Give them the pencils, throw them over there. Yeah.
Well, he's in the bedroom painting, or but you know, I obviously played sport and enjoyed outdoors and everything, and then you must remember those days, TV was almost non-existent.
Yep.
So people either read a lot, played sport or played outside till dark, and I would do both plus artwork. So yeah, it was great.
Forever a part of your life now, I guess. You're stuck.
It is, but yeah, it's enjoyable. It's good. It's a good part of my life. Yeah, and I used to be embarrassed, very embarrassed. People said, "Man, that's fantastic. How do you do that?" And I'm thinking, I don't know, it's pretty simple. You just fill in the drawing.
Yeah.
You know, now I can see, you know, why they show the interest, and little kids come up and say, "How do you do that, mister?" And of course they go,
Yeah.
"Oh,
it's
still wet."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's all good fun. Good fun. Anyway, what about yourself? How did you become?
Just fell into it. Didn't really have a choice.
Virtually fell
Having
into
some
it?
drinks. Yeah, pretty much.
Under pressure from Dad?
Not so much pressure. Just we both had interest in doing something about my great-grandfather.
Yeah.
And you know, how do we take it from an idea or just something that we're talking about into an actual business or into something that actually honours him? And it started as a drink, kind of like what we're having, and quickly led into, you can't really back out, you're too far in now. But it's all turned out well, and there's plenty of fun. We have a great team and crew here, but it was virtually just, all right, we're going to do this. Let's figure out, and I'm always up for just taking advantage of whatever opportunities in front of me and figuring out how I make it work. And kind of like what you were saying with, oh, can you do this? Can you make it work? Or I guess we'll figure it out.
And 5 years' time?
I don't know. Jess will be hitting me up for another kid, or 7. So maybe I'll be stuck at home dadding it. Maybe that could be me.
Okay. David will be in the coalface?
Semi-retired like now. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe other venues. I'm sure the team would be much bigger. I'm sure we'll be in a few other countries, and all the rest of it you don't really know until, you know, I didn't know COVID was going to happen, and
sure.
that's been almost majority of our time in business. So
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. What about it? You've been approached by people to sell to?
Yeah, a few. Nothing really that we've taken seriously, because it's, you know, either the number's not there, and the number for us it'd have to be something kind of astonishing. You know, it's important to us that it's obviously a family brand, and
Sure.
it's something that's emotionally kind of attached to us. It's not just something we've created to sell. It's something that
Yeah.
we're a big part of. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. The same, my work time was, I wasn't starting a business just so I could sort of create a certain figure and then sell and
Yeah.
then do something else. It was a real interest, a desire, I think, just to get something out there and walk past, drive past, and there's your name, and 5 years later, there's the graphic again, still there. So
Yeah, it's pretty special, especially when you see, like, for us, when we do our limited releases and when we, you know, talk about our whiskies, when we do tastings, and people feel it in the brand and people love the product and those sorts of things. That's a big part of it too. You know, when somebody goes, "Oh, I really love the sun rain that you've done on the truck," like that must be a similar kind of feeling for you.
it is. And getting back to your drinks, where do you stop at the number? Like, how many?
I don't know, like it's a creative industry, so it's kind of like, you know, how many colours can you use, how many colours can you make up, how many different signs could you write on a truck. Like for us, it's by pushing to do one every month, and by bringing new members of the team that get to learn production, it kind of helps us in a few ways. It pushes me to be creative and figure out new ways to do things and actually get better at the craft. You know, it's that repetition where we could make the same core range products. We might make them once a year, we might make them 4 times a year, but by doing one every month of different styles, you really get kind of dialed in with using the equipment, with making product.
Yeah. Do you delete a product, take it off off the line?
We haven't yet, but maybe it's something that we do in the future where we see stuff really kind of slow down. But you kind of never know what works, and it'll be the same. As soon as we decide we'll take something off, that'll be the one that everyone loved. And
the demand will be there.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, we'll see. I think the biggest part is me learning, and then as we evolve in business and I can bring people up in production too, and they get to have influence and they get to learn the same way and be more creative than, you know, oh, it's done out of the textbook, it's done exactly how it's done. Like, for me, it's kind of pushing to be different and making interesting things that not everyone else is making, and not always making it for a commercial reason, making it because it's fun and it's what we want to do. And that's kind of like our staff releases too. Like, we've got Tyson's coming up, who you know quite well, and he's been here over a year, so he gets his own staff release.
Okay.
And you know, it's a peanut butter, coffee, chocolate liqueur, and you know, not everyone's making one of those to go on the shelf. It's really a showcase.
And you taste every day?
Pretty much, yeah.
And you swirl it around and spit it out?
Exactly, yep. Just like a wine taster. Yep, you get a good stamina by doing that. Yep. That's perfect.
Yeah, I'd be tempted, but anyway, yeah, I like the gin.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got one last challenge while you're still here, while I got your time. It's the bootlegger challenge. All right, so we've got a little car, we're gonna do a bit of a race situation. How do you feel behind the wheel?
After half a glass, pretty good.
Pretty good? Perfect, all right. Let's go over here and I'll show you what it's all about. This is the bootlegger challenge. You got a car down here. When I say go, you have to grab your bottle, sit it in the back of the truck, then you've got to race your truck down around the barrel and then park it back into the bar.
Oh, you're kidding me.
All right, so we've got a few times up here at the moment. We've got 3 times. We have Craig Beard, so
you're kidding me.
Carrera Cup winning race car driver. He's at 18:78, so that's the time to beat. And then you've got a big gap to Matt Wilson at 26 seconds, and you've got Craig Parker at over a full minute. All right, you ready? Feeling smooth?
Not really, but
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, that was tidy. Oh, the pressure's got to him. Oh, that's off. Alrighty, you still got time, It's like the Amazing Race. Oh, that's it. Oh, time. 32 seconds before. You're not even last. Somehow you still came off 3rd. You're on the podium. There we go.
cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for coming in, eh?
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Great.
Hope you enjoyed your drink. Good chat.
Yeah.